All right, everyone, we welcome Coach DeBoer to the stage. As a reminder, he'll give some opening comments, then we'll open it up for Q&A. We have the microphone in the back of the room, so if you have a question, please go to the mic and ask it in there. State your name and affiliation, and please speak up so he can hear you. All right, Coach, go ahead.
All right, thank you. Good morning, and it's great to see all of you here. First of all, I just want to thank you for spreading the message of Husky football as well as the Pac-12, and I know, we're excited for this season. Our staff has worked tirelessly since coming in mid-December to January, building our team. We've had a great offseason from winter workouts to spring football, and now again summer workouts. I think we're certainly a team that is a lot stronger, faster, leaner, and those are things that, in the development of our current roster were important. We've brought in a few players that I think will be difference makers, and looking forward to really bringing it together here this fall. I think every day we continue to grow and have a mindset that, where we're gaining more confidence, a belief in what we're accomplishing and doing and who we can be down the road. So great leadership from President Kause to our athletic director, Jen Cohen. Appreciate all the support. It's really made the transition very seamless. It's been awesome getting to meet the people there in Seattle, and we're really looking forward to a great fall. So looking forward. Any questions?
All right, anyone who has any questions, please go ahead and step over to the mic and state your name and affiliation, and please speak up. Thank you.
Kalen, how are you? Good morning. I had a question actually about the 23 schedule. And the reason why I ask is because USC is presently on your schedule, but the conference hasn't decided what the schedule will be. So my question to you is, given that it will be one of their last years in the league, are you intent on keeping the USC game on the 2023 schedule for Washington?
Yeah, I mean, that is a question I hadn't even thought of, hadn't looked ahead of. I mean, we're just really honestly focused on this year, trying to just to get our feet underneath of us as a new staff and growing this program. And so, there's parts of the 2022 schedule I haven't even really thought of. We're worried about week one. I think next year, and we're going to play that Pac-12 schedule and whatever it be. So, I haven't really looked forward to the 2023 season that much.
Hey, Coach, how's it going? Lars Hansen with Cascadia Sports. What have you seen from your quarterbacks, all three of them, Sam, Michael, and Dylan, this summer? Because you wanted them to see some leadership. Just what have you seen from them that you have been able to see?
Yeah, no, that's obviously a big part of any football program, and in our offense, the quarterback position is the driver. And Michael Penix comes to us from Indiana, where I coached with him for 1 year, so systematically he understands what we do, and that was an easy transition for him during spring ball. You see him being able to coach guys up and being a little more confident in that. I think in those workouts that we had, those 15 practices. As far as the other two that obviously were already on the roster, Dylan, again, I have only got the 15 practices to go off of in the film, but he's taken a lot of snaps, in a Husky uniform. And, it's cool hearing the guys that are on the team and hearing them talk about how much they see Dylan's improvement from last year already to where we're at now. And that's only continue to happen and develop. And then, you got the up-and-comer. You got Sam, and Sam Heward took a few snaps again last year. And his ceiling, he's probably the furthest away from his ceiling just because he's younger and hasn't taken as many snaps that the other two have. And so every day his growth is, the one that probably and will continue to be the most extreme each and every day. And so it's fun seeing those guys. They're great high character guys. They understand, it's a battle amongst all three of them, but first and foremost, our team comes first, and they all want to be the leader and the guy that takes the first snap on September 3rd. And they're doing a great job of doing it in a united way.
Hey, Coach. Michael Matthew here, TGN Sports. What do you think you guys are doing? You know, you guys been able to churn out some really top-notch defensive backs these last few years. You had guys like Sidney Jones, Marcus Peters, Trent McDuffie last year. What do you think you guys, as far as coaching, are doing to, maximize your talent in the defensive backfield?
Yeah, and being a new staff, I can't sit here in front of you all and take credit for that. That's something that I think is just the DBU mantra has been something that's been strong, and the coaching staffs that have come before me have done a great job of, first of all, recruiting that talent and developing that talent. And we're going to continue to feed off of that. And fortunately, the players that we have returning that we need to fill in, a Kyler Gordon, a Trent McDuffie position, they saw what it looked like. And, they work every day to be those same players. Not that those are easy shoes to fill, but, our staff is excited about who we have, and I'm excited that those guys have had the experience to see those great players that you're talking about, and we got to continue to make it DBU in the future.
James Crepia from the Oregonian. Two more questions for you, Kalen. I realize it's been a dead period over the last month for the most part until earlier this week, but what has the fallout been on the recruiting trail of the LA schools leaving the conference, and just what have you been hearing from either your commits or the players you're recruiting? Because we saw earlier this week a recruit from Washington, say that he was committing to USC in part because of conference realignment and them joining the Big Ten.
Yeah, for us, it really hasn't had an impact at all, and it really hasn't. I've maybe had one conversation, and it was not something where it was really a player or a prospect having strong questions or concerns. It was just a discussion, just talking and asking, kind of just like everyone else does, what they see the future being, and at this point, that's something I'm not in control of, and really hasn't affected us at all.
And lastly, I realize this is going to sound like a silly question, but I promise it's actually serious. If an opponent withheld the heights and weights of their players, how would you view that as a coach? Like, if game week against this opponent, you look at the roster, it's just names and numbers. How would you feel about that?
I mean, I think it's just it's helpful and additional information that we use to understand what we're going to be up against. But I mean, nowadays you can find the information you probably want somewhere, and somehow, and so it's probably just a little more digging that we'd have to put into finding that information out. So.
Hey, Coach, Kim Reynolds from Dogman.com. Coming into a situation like Washington, now you've had a spring camp. I'm sure you had a list of things that you prioritized in fixing or changing, and some were easier than others. What's been the most difficult thing to change or implement since you've been here so far and been through a camp?
It's a good question, because I don't know if there's been something that's really difficult. I have a number of staff members that have been with me, and so that continuity makes the transition easy. So that what's being said in the meeting rooms and how the summer workouts are going, because our strength staff, a few of them I've worked with, and our head strength coach, Ron McKeefrey, who not just is important to the strength piece, but also the culture piece in the off season. I know what's being said pretty much daily because we're on the same page and we've known each other for so many years. In the installation of things, it's really gone seamless. I think the evolving of college rules have allowed us to have a little more hands-on with guys and be able to install things quicker than you could have maybe 7, 8, 9 years ago. And so that's lent us to feeling confident that when we step on the field next Thursday for our first practice, that there's going to be a depth of understanding of not just what that play is, but the details on how we're going to run it and how we're going to execute.
Just one more. When we talk to high school kids, they say that the biggest adjustment from high school to college football is the size and the speed of the game. You know, going from South Dakota, I know you spent some time at Wisconsin where it was quite a bit different, and now, you know, coming from Fresno State. How big of an adjustment is it for what you want to do with the size and the speed of the game?
You're asking the size and the speed.
Well, just you adjusting what you want to do with different type of athletes that maybe you've had in the past, and playing opponents with a different type of athlete in the past.
Yeah, I mean, I've been around, I think what you always find is that there's great talent at all levels. There's just at the higher levels, there's more of them. And there's not the weak link position that you're going to attack like maybe you did at the smaller college level. Everyone across the board, at all positions is strong. And so as far as our schemes, and I think they've been tried and true and are, been a number of different places. And, I'm not worried. I guess I'm not really worried about that at all. It's not something that really crosses my mind. We've played on the West Coast the last 4 to 5 years, have a pretty good understanding of what that looks like and the diversity that comes with each program and at different levels. And so I've been out in the Midwest, played, pretty much from coast to coast at the different levels. So I'm excited to see what we were able to accomplish this fall. I'm very confident that we'll continue to build a brand of Washington football, whether it be offense, defense, or special teams. That'll be fun to watch.
Hey, Coach. Shahan J. Raja, CBSSports.com. This was a team that 2 years ago was set to play in the Pac-12 championship game. Last year, obviously, a lot of turnover off the field. When you look at your roster right now, do you feel like this is a team that's closer to what it was 2 years ago or kind of what it was last year?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I think the biggest thing, and maybe this goes back to one of the previous questions a little bit, maybe where the biggest difficulty has happened is just, you got guys that have been through a lot, right? I'm the third head coach since 2019, and it's turned over. And, you got some guys that have had multiple position coaches. And so if there's anything that's been hard, it's just really understanding that these guys have been through a lot. And looking back, and to answer your question, what, is really something that's comforting is, for example, the two guys I'm bringing with me today, Alex Cook and Jackson Kirkland, guys on each side of the ball that were a part of a 2018 conference championship, guys that are coming back for their 6th year, and, they know what it looks like. And we have more players that are in that position as well that saw what it took, and they know what this program stands for and what the expectations are, and they know what it takes to get there. So I feel it's probably somewhere in between, right? A championship kind of mindset, but really, the doing part and the action part is the hard part, because that's the day-to-day process that we're in the middle of right now. So, simplifying it down and just trying to focus on winning that day is what we try to do. Worry about the things we can control and make a name for the 2022 team.
You've had so much success with quarterbacks over your tenure. What do you look for in a quarterback, and how do you kind of develop them to the place where they need to be, especially when you've got different kind of talent profiles and skill profiles?
Yeah. Well, the quarterback drives our offense, and, you put position players and you recruit receivers and these skill spots for a reason, right? It's to be able to distribute the ball. And so that quarterback's got to be able to throw. Anything that they can do with their feet is just an added bonus. We obviously would love to have that, but we don't have to. Playmaking ability can come in a lot of different forms. And to me, distributing the ball is the first form. Anything they can do, extending plays and things like that, doesn't mean they're running for yards, but maybe they're keeping the play alive, eyes downfield. And I can think of the past couple of years, some of our biggest plays have been when the initial play broke down. And so that playmaking ability is critical. But the passing talent, the arm talent that comes along with being a great passer is key. And then just, someone who's going to lead the charge, right? You need that toughness as a football team. And I think the toughness your quarterback brings is where it all starts. Your offensive line, your defensive line, your defense as a whole, yes, very important. But, the quarterback gets a lot of attention. We all know that. And, his resolve and his resiliency, his toughness is critical to our success for sure.
When you look at your other head coaching stops, where do you feel like over this offseason your team is on a progress curve versus maybe some of the places you've been before?
Yeah, I would say, they're all different, right? My first job was a small college. It was a place I had been for 5 years. That was an easy transition. I knew all the guys. The systems were all in, both sides of the ball, special teams. More recently, I think I felt good about, being at Fresno State. Then COVID hits, and now everything, especially with putting in a defensive install that was going to be new, that was changed. I feel like this is certainly the farthest we've been in really getting the culture piece together, because we've been able to be around our guys all spring or winter, spring, and summer, as opposed to 2020, which allows you to, not just build that relationship that is important with each player and as a team, but also be able to install the schemes that we want to. And so, again, when we hit the ground running on Thursday for practice, there's going to be a lot of reps that have been run by the players during the spring and also their summer workouts.
Hey, Kalen, Ryan Young with Rivals. What was your reaction when the USC and UCLA news came out? And having just gotten to the conference and all of a sudden it's kind of thrust into some flux, how have you kind of dealt with that?
Yeah, I think that it's due in today's world of college athletics, college football in particular. You expect the unexpected. I think probably everyone was a little bit surprised, right? But you also know and expect that things are going to change, and they're going to continue to change. So you take it in stride, and you make the most of the situation we're in. I feel like we're in a great spot at UW, and part of a conference that has a lot of things still going for it. So we'll just those again are decisions that are kind of out of my control at this point, and I'm just worried about 2022 football season.
Yeah, they're a pretty big last month recruiting-wise. What's been the process of establishing your staff on the recruiting trail and the response you've seen so far?
Just really proud of our staff, having a vision going back to when we first got together, the first weeks in January. And, we had to put together, first of all, your 2022 roster, fill in the holes. But then we really, really put our heads together and really did a great job of being thorough and understanding, what we needed for 2023 and how we were going to do it. And we've had a lot of success. I think it's obviously come down to the relationships that you build with these gentlemen. It's finding the right fit, that you want in your program, and of course they got to want to be a part of it. We've studied what's been successful over the years at University of Washington, and when the great teams have happened, where a lot of those players come from, and just the tradition of where the prospects come from geographically as well. So I think we've honed in on some really high character quality guys, and again, probably why there's not really been a lot of concern or questions from our commitments as to what is going on in the world of realignment. So we're in a good spot, and proud of our staff for having the vision and just the work ethic to build those relationships.
Thanks.
Yep.
Hey, Kalen. Dan Greenspan with the Associated Press. You hit on a little bit your experience at Sioux Falls. How different is life as an NAIA coach compared to an FBS level?
Yeah, it's not even comparable, to be honest with you. But going through those times are what give me the most confidence to be able to, I guess, you wear so many hats. You have so many different things that you do. I mean, I remember building lockers, right? My first year as a coordinator there, for your players, and you're doing equipment and things like that. You're the one, from making copies to printing playbooks to doing it all. And so those times you really understand the details, and you understand and appreciate what everyone a part of your organization is doing and how much work they're putting into their job. And so I wouldn't trade my path for the world. Again, I've got a chance to see a lot of great coaches, being an assistant over the last 15 years. And, that's led to being at Fresno for a couple where I've got a chance to again, reshape, who I am and what our teams are going to look like, and now get a chance to do that at UW.
In these first few months at Washington, have you realized that there are differences even from one FBS school to another? Do you have different requirements, time management, things that you're just now getting used to?
Yeah, no question. I think, there's greater involvement with the people. There's a higher level of intensity with the recruiting. There's a lot more other things other than football that you're involved with because there's more people involved. And I enjoy that. I enjoy being around the people. And, again, hiring a staff that can take care of those things the day-to-day and trusting that progress is still being made and not having to micromanage them every single minute, is, again, part of my path and getting to know those people and having the trust in those people that I've hired.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We've got about 3 more minutes here.
Yeah, hey there, Kalen, Michael Lev with the Arizona Daily Star. As someone who, came up through the ranks of smaller colleges, group of 5 schools, et cetera, what do you make of the direction that the sport is headed now with super conferences, NIL, maybe unlimited transfers, all of those things?
Well, I guess if you really you're talking about what the philosophy, right? And the philosophy is to make this one of the greatest experiences of their life. And, I think those experiences and giving these guys resources. So I think, again, NIL is providing resources to these guys. And, continuing to do it and right the way and embracing it is something I guess has been important to me because this is a positive for them and it helps their experience. Being able to transfer in the portal, as much as I understand the issues with a few of the things that have happened, it's also, again, helping them in their limited years to play this sport, to get their education. It's giving them a chance if that decision wasn't the right one or things changed since they've been at their university, doing it the right way and it hopefully going down in an above board fashion. It gives them an opportunity to go make the most of their educational experience in their football time.
Time for one more? Oh. Time for one more?
Hello, Coach. Kenneth Berry, Touchdowns and Tangents. How big was it for you to get Jackson back and also to kind of keep that secondary together?
Yeah. It's huge. Not because he is huge, okay? It's huge because, Jackson's a guy that bleeds purple. His dad was a great football player at UW. It's an important place for him. The conversations go back to early January, when this first all started happening, and it took a long time and to evolve to where we knew he was going to be able to wear a Husky uniform again. And during that time, it's been really special seeing how important this place is to him and how great of a teammate he is, even during the waiting period of finding out what he could do and what was going to happen. Just seeing him have the resiliency, having the patience, while he continued to just focus on doing what he could do to help himself be ready, if he was able to step on Husky Stadium again and play ball for us. So. The DB position, guys like Alex Cook and Asa Turner and Mish Powell, their return is really important. And obviously it's a new system, but they've really picked up on it. They're very intelligent players, and I'm excited to see them along with what our havoc is that we're going to cause up front and seeing what we can do defensively. But those DBs, having them back is really important, and I'm excited about it.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Coach.
You bet.
Appreciate your time.
You bet. Thank you.